You see the lieutenant's familiar shape in the orange jacket. It turns double, then triple, from the pain. It's nothing. You're alive. That's what matters.
Sunrise, Parabellum. What happened? You shot the major in the face. A firefight ensued. Yes. As retaliation, the rifleman shot you. He hit with his carabine. I was looking for a clear line of sight. When I found it...
He sounds a tiny bit sorry he did not find it before you got hit.
I shot and wounded him, while Glenn took a bullet in the spine. It was meant for me. He did not survive. Titus, Fat Angus, and Theo charged. Angus and Theo did not make it. They both died before they made it to intensive care. Titus survives. So do Alain and the musician. I forget his name. Yes, he's still alive too. You were bleeding out by then. I think you said something about your wife, and you warned me. I was able to disarm one of them, the Pole, before she got a jump on me. I killed her. And that's what happened. This is the one. The Pole was the last to die. Everhart had their bodies returned to Crenel for a funeral. The company is yet to retaliate. Because we deterred them? Or Joyce did? Maybe the harbor in full lockdown is too costly a target. Or maybe they are simply taking their time and will attack soon. I don't know. 4. Glenn, Theo, Angus, the fat one. He took a lot of bullets. And Elizabeth too. Elizabeth Beaufort was her name. The gardener. No, she bled out before Everhart's surgeon could help her. Everhart sent his personal doctor, but a costly loss for the Union. She was being trained for leadership. She never had a chance. She should not have been there in the first place. There was no way to convince them. All. Yes, officer. 6 people are dead. It's not a success. But what's done is done. The violence is cordoned off. The Hornets did not get into the beehive. The worst scenario has not materialized. Yet. And we are still alive. Both of us.
His smoking, his hunched back. You have it worse, but he took a real beating. That cigarette has medicinal purposes.
It's not ouch time yet. You just got the Dramamine pill an hour ago. Wait until it wears off. Mr. Gart cleaned it. It took him an entire day. 2 days, in and out. You've been up enough to take Dramamine and curse. And drink water. Yes, the joke wasn't funny anymore. I took it off. Sunrise Parabellum. Sunrise, prepare for war. It's an old revolutionary saying. The gates of the harbor are boarded up. The streets are a little more empty. Apocalyptic violence is yet to erupt, I am relieved to say. I think we may have held it off, for now. Barely. That's right. Ouch, indeed. Pretty bad, officer. You've suffered 2 wounds. The first is below your shoulder. The bullet passed through your shoulder blade, luckily missing your lung and heart. The second shot hit you in the thigh, the left quadriceps. No major arteries were nicked, but the bullet had to be removed. Bacterial infection was treated with mercurochrome. We will see.
You won't be able to dance much, that's for sure. You should be able to live with limping around, though.
Not very. I have a concussion from that woman beating me with the butt of her gun. I tried to not move too much. Things would be worse if you didn't warn me. Thank you. I did not see her coming. Stupid of me. No. I called your station after the fight. The injury was logged in. They told me they've sent officers to join you on the site. I'm sure they're worried about you. I did. It's part of a detective's task chain. You can do it too.
Actually, you can. You can even remove a fractured bullet, it seems.
Easy now.
You can take it. Just don't lean on that leg of yours too heavily. Your balance is way off. You feel like you're about to fall over on that thing.
How are you? Your disco days should have been done quite a while back, Lieutenant Yefreiter. I honestly don't know. Do you? Because we can't talk to Everard. The harbor is in lockdown. Everyone in there is outside our grasp now. And Joyce has left too. Yes, she left yesterday morning. To meet the board of Wild Pines, or that is what I've heard. There's a pin somewhere in the machine that keeps Connell from sending in a death squad. Maybe it's her. Maybe she kept her hand. Either way, Ruby's gone, and Classio too. We really should have arrested her, you know? Guard confirmed she left 20 minutes prior to the tribunal showing up. I don't know. I think the theory you presented, it's someone else, outside our circle of suspects, was right. Honestly, I think our investigation has not produced a single credible suspect. What? Every piece of garbage in the city is not connected to the case. You don't have to keep everything. I don't know. That's been there for years. Yes, God cursed the footprints, not solving the case for us. Au diable. We could find thousands more if we wanted. All of Revachol is full of them.
He does not know what to reply. Looks out of the window, then back at you. It's morning outside, you think.
I'm afraid we may not be able to locate communism, Detective, on account of it being dead. Ideology does not have anything to do with the murder investigation at hand. I'm sorry, it does not.
He arches his brow. The ceiling fan patiently spins overhead.
I'm listening. I'm ready to hear what you think about solving crimes now. It really is very hard.
That concussion must be making him dizzy.
Are you ready to limp? Good. Where do you want to limp to? Let's do that. We can start upstairs in Classio's bedroom. I have not done a thorough sweep after she left. Another look at the window, perhaps? The one he was shot through. I don't know. I can't think of anything better.
These papers bear the stamp of the RCM. They appear to be fragments of the lieutenant's paperwork, half finished. You make out notes on this and other recent cases.
I had guard open the door to your room. You were running a low bacterial fever the first night. It would have been easy were it not for my concussion. We both got lucky, considering the odds we faced.
Next to the stack of bills, you see a note, a few lines jotted down in large, uneven handwriting, just as the writer was about to rush out the door. I'm sorry, I fucked everyone over. P.S. I didn't kill him. P.P.S. Gift upstairs.
A gift? It's hardly surprising. I am not drawing my gun, yet, but I don't like gifts.
He says he's not, but his hand moves instinctively toward his holster, as he just don't walk into another radio trap, okay? The medicine cabinet is empty. Not even a toothbrush. Pity.
She certainly had her priorities straight when she was packing. Of course you were. How does that work anyway? Amphetamine. Does it make you a better detective?
Be honest, he's not grilling you. He just wants to know. Ask if he's ever wanted to take it too.
Thought so. Let's go?
So, the good lieutenant was looking for an edge. This window is pristine, at least on the inside. A red thread has been taped to the glass using adhesive tape. It trembles ever so slightly in the cold wind.
This is ballistics. She's left a trajectory for us.
Golden light melts away into the blue, glassy darkness of your mind. In it are two neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman on the single bed. Like the witness said, the man is kneeling, the woman is on her back. It's the night of March 4th and a shot has just been fired. The man looks directly at the woman. The shot's possible directions converge in his mouth, a ray cast from somewhere outside, entering his brain, ending him. The red thread bisecting the room shows the trajectory of the bullets. From the roof outside, location A prime, the glass fractures around the bullet hole, shards face inwards like a corona behind the woman's back. Maybe if you extrapolate all possible points of origin first, the thread will make sense. The man does not know the bullet has entered his brain. He never will. Death comes faster than the realization. The ray cast from the man's mouth unravels into a fan of possible directions, all on the roof at first. The shot could have come from any of them. This is composite location A prime, most likely of the origin points. There could have been. Then the rain and slush and wind washed it away. This was more than a week ago. 72%, with a weapon that fires jacketed ammunition, likely a rifle. This is a good short distance, but not too short. The perpetrator aimed with their back against the railing, or possibly kneeling for precision. This would explain why it only took them one shot. The lights were on in here. Outside it was dark. It was like shooting fish in an aquarium, a well-lit aquarium. The victim opened his mouth to let the bullet in. Neither of them would have seen anything outside in the darkness, too busy with their own bodies. None that you've found thus far, but that doesn't mean there aren't any. Point X would contradict the woman's testimony, rendering the entire proposition void. These figures would be wiped out, detective. That's a 28%, yes. In this model, the shot could have come from a greater distance. Nothing excludes the possibility. Should we extrapolate to include every possible point of origin in Martinez? According to your map of the district, this shot could have come from a wide angle of locations, starting with the northern edge of the abandoned boardwalk, ending with an islet in the bay. Let's call them B prime. B prime for boardwalk, B double prime for Land's End, and B triple prime for the islet, detective. There may be smaller points in between, but those are too fine to zoom in on. 700 meters away, the likeliest of these B positions, 20% chance. A skilled sniper could have made the shot, provided he had a safe sniper's nest. Even with the light on inside, we're talking military training. At that distance, the perpetrator would have had to take wind direction into account. 1.2 kilometers away, the least likely of these positions, let's say 3%. A truly skilled sniper could have done it, possibly from a tent. No, too far-fetched. 1 kilometer away, a point beyond the docks, on an islet in the bay. The fort is ruined, but the perpetrator may have found a stable spot on the beaches surrounding it, where the concrete crumbles into the sea, as you saw in the coin-operated viewer. The shot would have been a small miracle, 5% likelihood. There is an extremely narrow field of view from the bay to the window, between Rue de Saint-Ghislain 8B and 33A. The angle would have been extreme and access to the islets is questionable, but it is a possibility. Then there's the thread the witness left. She did have a first-hand view of the event. Perhaps she found something in the outer reaches of her memory of it. You need to inspect it again. It suggests the bullet came from the extreme upper quadrant of possible angles, from a point beyond the roof, B triple prime. The island in the bay.
Unless she thinks the perpetrator was standing on the ring antenna, that is where the thread seems to point. She was there that night. She would have known precisely where the bullet hole was in the glass. It also looks like there may be more to her skill set than we know. The question is, should we trust her? I find that hard to believe, but at this point, what difference does it make? I remember. So it is.
For a second he seems tired.
I just haven't gotten a lot of sleep these past few days.
He doesn't really believe this will yield anything. He is trying to justify it to himself. There, across the grey water, amidst crumbling concrete, a birch tree, and the half-sunken ruins of a flak tower.
Okay, let's go to the fucking island. How do we get there? Joyce Messier had a sloop, but she's gone. Ah, yes, of course. The village. Let's go.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's paint. The key fits the dimple lock. It takes a bit of effort to turn it after all these years, but then the lock clicks. All these mesmerizing machines, just waiting to be plugged back in and played. Feels like it might jump back to life any moment, the lights illuminating the white-robed woman.
Some kind of inane pinball theme, probably related to Messina during the DeLorean age. The history themes are the worst.
The lieutenant grimaces, looking at the machines.
No, I love it. I love pinball. Who doesn't love pinball? Let's move on. No. You can't fire them up. They are broken. Only that one machine in the main hall works. The Royalist Pinball.
What a dumb name. Royalist Pinball. If they weren't broken, he would kick one of these machines about now.
Oh, you're up. It's good to see you back on your feet. Did you like your room? I cleaned it for you. You're welcome. I thought it would be nice for you to wake up in a clean place after you, let's be fair, defended this establishment and its clientele from gunfire. I give credit where credit is due, and that, sir, was a nice shot. I was watching until you hit him. Crawled inside then. Bullets started flying. Anyway.
He really wants you to realize that he was also on the balcony looking by, in the danger zone, so...
I wish you a quick recovery. Also, you and your partner are staying here free now. This establishment supports cops. The stay is free, but the drinks are not. Oh, you know, people don't tend to stick around after shootouts. Turns out they're not good for business. Yeah, I was. Yeah. That's because I'm a bad ass.
It really took courage. Don't pick at him.
Yeah, I don't know. Clients were panicking. And also, I guess I sort of found out that I don't give a shit if I die. I don't remember everyone who comes here. And many people wear sunglasses inside lately. Must be a fad. Ah, them. Nice people. But no. Lena said they were going back to Jamrock. I saw them pass by outside. This was before the fight started. I'm glad she got out of here before all that. Bullets flying and stuff. People inside were quite terrified, you know. I had to take action and step outside too. Yes, you know, and I went outside and took care of it. Everybody calmed down. Felt like the right thing to do.
He's almost completely forgotten what this began with.
I mean, you're a detective. Perhaps you can track them down.
Exactly, but all in due time. Crypto business is not a priority right now.
Oh, fine, hero cop. Lena left a forwarding address. 1113 Tabernacle Road in Jamrock. If you see them again, no problem. They'll come back. They always do. No, you don't. It's not happening.
He tries not to look at you. It's dangerous to acknowledge the karaoke man.
It's for no one. It's a prop. I'm not letting anyone use it after the great karaoke catastrophe of 44. A lot of people got killed because some arsehole wanted to sing karaoke. Okay, yes, it's for some clients. Ha! Well, we don't have any tapes. They all got stolen.
The man in the vest and the violet shirt stares at the tape you've just given him. He begins to
Fine. Climb on that stage and do your thing. Just get out of my hair. I'll plug it in.
I'm having it uninstalled, he mumbles to himself. The stage is all set up for your performance. Feels silent. You can hear the pellets creak under your feet. You feel a little dizzy, a little unsteady suddenly.
So, are you ready for your thing now? Let me know when I should turn on the karaoke carousel.
I can see that.
Immediately, a loud feedback noise startles the room. You feel like an amateur. How are you supposed to hold the mic? Should you just sing into it? Where should you... Hands? Where do you put your hands? Does someone feel like throwing up? I do. A little. It's still early here. Faint daylight is seeping into the dining hall. All the tables have been wiped pristine clean for the customers to come. Someone's making coffee in the kitchen, but aside from that, no one's really around yet. It would be, yes, you can always do it in the evening. It will be less scary with a lot of people.
Hi again, Gendarme. Admiring the atmosphere. What about you, officer? Maybe you should figure it out, detective. Bye-bye, gendarme.
Seeing you approach, the bruised man raises his bear in welcome.
Crazy motherfucker. Didn't think you had that fury in you. But I guess I've misjudged a lot of people lately. That was one hell of a shot. Hell of a shot. The fucks did not expect that. I guess what I'm trying to say here is, thank you for intervening, fellas. That was mighty brave of you.
His hand is covered in bruises and half plastered. Still, this hulking lump of man is glad to be alive.
Dick Mullen on steroids. Glenn would have liked you had he gotten to... Never mind. I guess I'll take a closer look at our union members. There's bound to be some ambitious fellows there who'd love nothing more than advancing social democracy by busting some heads. Might even ask Tibbs if he's tired of replacing windows, and maybe wants to have some fun with his brother. Anyway, don't you worry. As long as Titus Hardy's standing, there will be Hardy Boys. Don't know? Don't care. I'll be glad if I never see that fucking...
Even after all that hell, he's still bitter about her?
Nope.
He shrugs and tries to look uninterested.
Theo was old. I think he'd be pretty happy with the way he went. Never could imagine him withering away on a sickbed. But Lizzie and Angus, they were just stupid kids. Didn't realize the shit they got into before it was too late. And Glenn was my friend. Best I've ever had. I'd love that crazy homo like my own brother. We're all fucked without him. But what do? This job is shit. Dennis, you saw him run. He's a mean little shit and I never trusted him. He'd better run real fast now.
Titus makes no attempt to hide his disgust. Grief-stricken anger boils in him.
Man, getting shot has really squeezed all the funk out of you. Mark my words. One day we'll look back at this day and remember their courage, not their deaths.
Right. But today ain't that day yet, is it? Judging by the sight of you, I'd suggest crawling into bed with a bottle of whiskey in one hand and a big tit in the other.
Yeah, go pay Monica a visit in Janrock. She's got a knack for making men forget about their worries. Biggest pair of milkers in all Rebacho.
Hell, you both look like you could use some feminine company right now.
Thank you for your advice, Eugene, and you too, Alain. I do always appreciate a good use of the expression milkers.
You're welcome, Bina Claude. You're all right in my book. Take care, coppers. You two look after yourselves now. Death passed on you today, but men don't get that lucky twice.
Copo Loco. And normal cop, I guess. Good luck in Jamrock. Scars made the best tattoos, they say.
Thanks for getting involved, guys. Not a lot of cops would step into that line of fire, but you did.
And if you ever feel like the uniform is holding you back, I've got a few vacancies.
The graffito has been painted over the traces of the fight that took place here. It smells of blood and heavy fuel oil. This was Cindy the Sky.
And blood. Some of it is even yours.
Heavy fuel oil. Isn't that flammable? The lieutenant crouches, touching the fuel oil with his finger.
Looks like it, yes. This is still fresh. It wasn't here yesterday.
The fuel oil catches fire immediately with a low hiss, a bright orange flash across the surface of the lettering. The falling snow turns to vapor above the silently.
Let's go to that island.
Slowly, the flames subside, the fuel burning out. The air still smells of mazout, and
Mon Dieu! You set it on fire! What kind of a policeman are you? That's nice. Better somehow. Can I help in any way? René wasn't really what you'd call a botanist, officer. And believe me, he didn't like Insulindian lilies.
of course he didn't. Flowers are for pansies. Stop wasting time with them.
That's their old name, dating back to the time of kings and crests, and all that other stuff he loved so much. There were many reasons, but mostly it was the communals. They called them the belts of revolution. I guess in the end, the Insulindian lilies were just another piece of the whole Insulinda. The royalists had to...
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito, bullet holes, and an RCM sticker.
Other than kicking?
You drop the white envelope in the darkness. It lands with a soft thud on what sounds like a couple of letters. About a week's worth of mail as collected in there.
Let's go back to Everard. This better be worth it after what we did.
My man, you're alive. Almost. Kind of. Sort of alive? Man, what a day. I missed out on most of the action, but I heard it was quite the encounter. Had a strong sense of finality to it. So what's next? You guys heading back to Jamrock now? Talk is local union muscle were behind it all. I'd reckon the case is closed, even if it kind of turned into a shit show. Good luck with that, my man. Ain't easy being you, but hey, you're still breathing, right? Nope, don't smoke. Some of the other drivers do, though.
Hey, isn't he like smoking right?
Okay, but this is my last one, and it's a bad...
Are you sure you don't already have lung cancer? The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says,
No, you need to. Is this about?
a lorry stuck in the traffic jam. The boyadero stares at you with respect, then gestures towards the trickles of blood adorning your clothes.
Yet you live. It goes back to an older era where this was commonplace. You have a true boyadero heart. Hiding, gathering themselves. The harbor's in full lockdown, friend. No getting in or out, for the time being. No, man. Not today. Today is war. Time will tell. I'll tell Everard you dropped by. I'm sure he'll be glad. I'll be okay here, doing lookout. Quite the sight, aren't they? Getting to like that red I am. Don't worry about me. I live to alleviate the worries of our brothers. See if any insane killers turn up. Then I'll run. And live. I'm sure I'll be luckier than you, friend.
Inside, you see a set of stem levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Something is wrong. Only static hisses through the speaker. No reply. Only the mindless drone of static crawling through the air.
It's been this way for a while now. My guess is the Union is listening in on our conversations and jamming outward communications to protect themselves from Kremlin. It only happens when someone mentions the attack. The rest is unaffected. Our best bet is to carry on like nothing happened. That is, if we don't want us cut off the grid completely. No more dangerous than stepping between 3 armed mercenaries and 8 Union men, I hope. I don't like it either, but that's the way it is. The street seems safe enough to me. If anything, taking out the mercs made things calmer. You can try calling again. Just don't mention the tribunal. And remember...
They're shutting you up, silencing you. Everything sounds okay. No drumbeat of total war yet. If in the cabin you see a set of steering...
Wow! A cop limping down the street, bleeding from the shoulder, face bruised, looking like hell? You know what? Cool! That's cool!
Between you and me, this is why I don't get involved in local politics. In its purest form, now, what...
There's nothing else to do.
Officer Harry, you're wounded. Why are you wounded? You look terrible. Is this from the shooting in town? We heard gunshots. Not that we don't hear gunshots all the time, but they were closer than usual.
There was an exchange of fire on Rue de Saint-Ghilaine. It's nothing to be worried about, madame.
That's nothing to brag about, officer.
It's not serious. He'll be okay.
You feel the ligament move on your left shoulder, and a small, warm drip of blood. It's nothing.
So you're a killer? That's good, I guess. Better than being dead.
She just looks at you, her tea-length skirt flapping in the wind.
Of course. Can I help you with something? That won't be a problem. It's wind still and the tar just dried. We've got 2 days of relative sunshine ahead. Used to be some kind of fortification there before the war. For the communards. An anti-aircraft gun, I think. Bombed to bits in the landing. I haven't been there myself. Always steered clear of it.
Hasn't been there herself. Who has then?
My husband used to drink there. Him and his drinking buddies. Always seemed like a bad place to drink to me. People died there during the landing, you know. My mother told me. The kids sometimes go there too. I know they do, on rafts. I tell them not to, but they bring back old bullet casings and such. The twins. God forbid they bring the girl along on some rickety barge.
Can we maybe ask your twins about that place before we go? Would that be alright?
Be my guest. They've a strange way of talking. See if you can get anything useful out of them. I seldom do. Well, most of it's sunken. Underwater. That means concrete underwater. Cut your boat if you're not careful. Be sure to enter from the south side. Water's deep there.
Aye, aye, Captain.
I'm sad to hear that. Take care of that with Ether, will you? Don't get too many RCM men round here.
That's cool. You boasting your bacterial infection like that.
Well,
Aye, aye, Captain.
if you promise to bring it back, and no scraping the hull, I just got it nice and yellow, and no drinking on the boat, and no joyriding either.
Of course, ma'am. It's only for a day or two. Official police business.
Aye. See, that makes me not want to lend you my skiff. On a boat, rocking leads to capsizing. That there is an absolutely 100% rock-free skiff. You got that? Please be conservative with the fuel, will you? Just filled her up, but it's a small tank.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with? Even I can see that. I told you not to bring your trouble, though I suppose you took the worst of it. Turns out you were your own ill omen. I'm not sure those were the last of the men with guns either. There are always more coming for your kind, officer.
Then we'll be ready for them. The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone while the other...
And that iron. That's, nothing. It's just a seafort and some plants. You can take a raft there. It's great. And we make a fire. We make a fire. Mm-hmm. Gather the sticks for the fire. And bullets. Oh, not real bullets. Empty bullets. They're lights. The fire guy comes and asks us to put the fire out.
Your nerve endings sting from the mention of a guy.
No. Yes.
Let's go with yes.
Because he asks to put the fire out. don't know. He doesn't like it. He don't like people to be there. You should... Yes.
Because he doesn't want to be found. Smoke traces.
I don't know.
Did you mean there are electrical lights?
Yes. No, he doesn't live there. I don't think. No, he lives there. Been there twice, 2 times. He doesn't live there. He isn't there sometimes.
Anything else? What does this guy look like?
I don't know. We ran. He just yelled we shouldn't be there. Our father killed himself. Don't say that, he didn't. I'm sorry. There's
Lights, fire guy. We should check up on that island.
A skiff with a small steering engine in the back floats on the calm mirror of the sea. Its 2 seats are empty. The boat's belly is a shiny yellow color, industrial paint over fresh tar. You see it reflect off the water, along with the factory number. Have you made all the necessary preparations? Closed all your accounts? Remember what the nitpicker said. It's a small tank. You won't be going back and forth on this.
What? Fine. Let's blast Sad FM then.
boat comes to a slow stop. The lieutenant turns the engine off. Then, in the silence, a sputter of wings. A flock of quails takes off in the distance. Let's go. There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting on piles of soft cover books. White linen and a pillow are visible under a worn-out caracal blanket.
Someone has been squatting here. The linen is fresh, recently washed.
You force the rest of the sentence out through pain, thick as molasses, no longer able to hear yourself speak.
You know, officer, you can rest here if you are feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead.
You face the concrete wall. There's less light there, in the dark corner. Like a dog, you lie there. You didn't realize how tired you were. Your body is still nowhere near healed. The blanket feels cold. The entire room does. Concrete and cold. Minutes pass. Half an hour, you feel yourself standing up in the darkness, right next to the mattress. Slowly, the world begins to hatch from the blackness. It's evening. Sleep. With your feet trembling from the steps you took, tepid and fearful, you stand against her, her body close to you, radiating warmth. With your eyes closed, you move your lips on her mouth. She is not kissing you back. Her chest rising like a pillow, warm exhalations against the side of your mouth, her tender soul moving through her lungs. The delicate wreath on her forehead pressing into your temple, the silver is cold from the spring evening air. Feels like soft fuzz, a bird covered in down feathers, brushing against your broken capillaries. This was not about failure or success. This was always going to be horror. I should not have suggested it, and you should not have listened to me. Nothing, just pillows against you. Unresponsive, but for the taste of apricots. Apricot-scented chewing gum. Her hand does not return the grip. Her body is rigid. A current of unease courses distrust. For you, the curve of her spine, her shoulders hunched. The moment is ending. She is going to move her face away from yours.
You're up quick. How was your sleep? Okay.
Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organized. Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. This disparate digest includes the classic animal adventures. Among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories, you find a magazine cathodique for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp. Light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders.
Someone's made themselves a home.
Soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories, animal adventures, a magazine for electrical engineering. Not that you can tell. This is a digest of someone who's dead bored. Most of it is for entertainment purposes, fittingly right next to the radiola on the floor. Maybe it's a little old-fashioned. There's a nude mag. More than that. You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one, a heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional keyhole above the handle. It's very small.
Another part of the island, probably. The lock looks like it could still be usable. Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open?
He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door.
I think there's a console just southeast. Let's look around. Getting the blast door open seems like the best plan.
An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift, with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The cables disappear into the wall to your right. The lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel, checking for warmth.
It's cold now. but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
A hollow ring. The canister is empty. Dust falls from the generator and down into the ammo lift.
I don't know. I'm not a philosopher. Someone with basic electrical skills has restored it in order to keep the room warm. Maybe it's the fire guy.
The wind outside picks up suddenly, with a faint howl. Inside, it's warm.
Liquid carbon. I would imagine it takes mazout. The kind that's favored by vagrants and fuel thieves. It's been a long winter, long and cold.
If anyone stayed here, they'd need a generator.
Downstairs, somewhere?
The lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. Dark brown, viscous fluid pours out, and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse before settling down to a rattle.
That should do it.
Green paint flicks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard.
The console of an antique computation device. The generator upstairs, with wires coming out, they terminate here. I think, yes. Let's see. That one. The emergency open.
The dial slides under the glass, dark and silent. Restoring electric power has not breathed life into it. The lighting in the room turns on with a sizzle, a dim ambient orange. The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in. A sudden wave of anxiety makes your skin crawl.
After you. I don't know.
A thin wisp of smoke rises from a charred black fire pit. The wind picks up. Then...
Don't be. I have a gun. I know. It was not easy to acquire.
An old man, wearing tracksuit trousers, leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it out, into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp.
No. Put it down now, sir.
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me. It's out of bullets.
Like an amputated limb in the sand.
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
The Commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICN? Your holdover from the...
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in '07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orion, and consigned to emergency defense duties in '08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the Commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself. At 43 years. No, I've been on other islands too. I was an resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was an E-48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was... It's not an island, Dwat. It's a defensive fortification of the Commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender. The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing. Against the whole world. Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone. Sure you are. You're RCM. Answer me. Who calls an operation against 50 million people Deathblow? You don't know. You haven't seen it. It's a black-eyed angel. "43 years and 10 months. It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
Where the afternoon grows late, on Rue de Saint-Gislain, people walk home. Street lights will soon be lit. Further inland, the streets are alive with workers, men, women, children, street hawks and migrant laborers. The temperature is steady. Alto cumulus clouds form above Precinct 41.
Always waiting. For her to return.
Her who?
Girl child, revolution. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do. How does anyone survive? I steal supplies, vegetables, collect rainwater. It's the life of a dog, not a human being.
How is your health, Mr. Dross?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns. I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of... I don't even know what. Inferno?
I would imagine it gets tremendously difficult, mentally, to live in isolation.
Traitors. It's better alone. I watch the people of this city turn the lights back on, more and more each year. Ruins, glimmering in the dark, like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting. I was just 16 years old. 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took for reaction to take hold. Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men.
He does not seemingly react to what you said. Only his right brow moves a little.
And this was when?
May the 13th, 08, 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky, and it looked like the combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the flak tower, huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room. I ran. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers underground, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse. Frightened airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too, shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels, or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was real.
Some kind of great terror, worse than you've ever seen.
The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed. And then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know that the bourgeois are not human.
Now is not the time, Lieutenant Jeffreto.
I had to. I had to fight it. I could not stop anymore. It was hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsov coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequencies dead. At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals. So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right? Useless now. Rusted away.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however. The propaganda bunker. I used to...
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys. A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
The old man looks across the water, at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol. You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International. The enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti communiste dans ce monde. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit.
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army. Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
The old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the commune.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a night philosopher of the revolution, a future human.
Awakened from shutdown by the promise of ideology. He nods slowly, then another tremor.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce. I've used it for killing people.
Here we go. A trail of blood. The lieutenant smells it too.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while. But this is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution. Go in straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
What did I just say?
What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now.
I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time. Nothing comes to you. Silence. His black eyes look at you. And in them, a chill, like electricity running up your spine, crawling into your skull.
All is not as it seems.
Detective.
The who now?
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it. You're in.
The worm there. In the monster armor. An ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol.
A drop of blood in the saliva. Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember. Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof. There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary symbols from the war. Nowhere else, nowhere in all of Martinez have you seen them this spring. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now they're gonna come up. Yes, ouch. So good it hurts. Those were not modern prints. Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal. Nothing else comes up. You see the lieutenant watch you try to stimulate thought processes by hitting yourself. I'm sorry, this didn't do anything. Usually hurting yourself does.
Officer, a word? I think we may have this. From nothing to this in a day. This is good, Lieutenant Gefreiter. We just need a confession first, and then maybe a solid motive later. Ballistics. Let him cook here for a minute or two. We can have another look around the island for a sniper's nest. I think we should check out the post.
He doesn't have to hold in court. Just establish a line of sight and he'll do the rest himself.
Also, the gun. We should pick it up and discuss it in front of him. Make a show of it. Good. We are doing very good. He wants to confess, I can see that. We just need to pile it on a little more. The more we have on him, the closer he is. Yes, good going. That should be our first priority. I can see that, yes. I'm not judging. Remember, he wants to tell us, but he doesn't want to help us. It needs to look like we already have everything.
Minions of capital. What do you want? I ain't going anywhere. Minions of capital.
What? His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stopped and patched in places with tape and wire. The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangle, 4.46mm, made in Sinyao.
The right type and the right calibre. It doesn't matter if it was made in Shanti Shanti. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition, and it does.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. Is some kind of involuntary response? Something is slightly off with his motorics. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It can be used against him later.
Petty bourgeois law. This is all you care about, right? The only thing in the world for you types.
A drop of blood in the saliva. Tear into him again. Pile it on him.
Damn napalms. The whole island is turning white with them. So many this year too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away. They blossom on the islets before we fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May before they ruined it.
South, the Bay of Martinez is dotted with little freckles of islets, turning green, with white flowers in white snow.
The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
I may. Classier. With the victim.
There is a small tremble, looks like a smile, a crooked smile, yet isn't quite voluntary. Almost, but you need one more, just one, or maybe two.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa.
Show me the source, please, Mr. Douglas.
Fucking imbecile.
The maker is called Sansarique, and the size is 42 to 44.
The size fits, but not the soul.
Simpler? No. This is another loose thread you will never connect. The lieutenant raises his brow. Not now. Stop yourself.
People change shoes, detective. It was you. You were there, weren't you? Crawling in whirling rags. What were you doing? Some kind of reconnaissance? Preparing the scene? Listening in on her?
Trying to rack your brains. You're desperate to report something back to your masters. They must have really loved that bed.
The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silence suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance. More. He's gonna crack. But you need a little more.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your little musketeer pistols. I've seen you prance around with those. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it? 4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. We have it. This is it. Good. This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Murder. You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood. Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds. Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Reversham.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you, while the lieutenant listens, holding his breath.
I had them in my sights, both of them, him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase, and I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death. And that stupid look on his face. Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white. Or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Yes.
And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from. You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
I'm always looking.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle's scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
Click.
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique. Them fucking. I didn't like that. Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself, drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
This man has seen past her, like you did. And now he longs to see her covered in blood. To punish her.
Since she came to Martinez, I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Fell building on a ghost? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
And beautiful.
That, too.
How could you see what she looked like? You said it was dark.
The sun came up. Her hair was like cobwebs. She smoked more fags and snorted a line of whatever shit she was on right there. She needed her passport and tickets to Villiers, and from there to Cachet Brut. After she was gone,
Did you keep what was in it? When we found the submersible, it was empty.
no. Why would I do that? I didn't need tickets to Villiers. I'd put them back. If I wanted to extort someone, I'd do better. Why would I need that trash? I'm not going to Villiers.
A strange confusion comes over him from time to time. Some kind of aberration of the nervous system.
I did. She had a face like an archipelago with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook, on the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses, forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio. I'm not blind, am I?
It quickly comes to you.
Oh, yes. Cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife. Masturbating.
Everything in him fills with impossible longing, all at once.
Did you make that hole?
With a clip point knife.
Good for listening in, too. for hearing the moaning and the snorts.
Like that too? Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass. I've been through all of Martinez, every nook and cranny. Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room, what she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union box window.
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know. No. I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of her room on the floor, like she'd done the day after I killed him. Yes, I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
Neither does he. He lowers his head, like a sunflower in the silence. The lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more.
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
The old man raises his gaze. Something glimmers in the corner of his black eye.
Her.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement.
Where is she? That's classy. I haven't seen her there for days. Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week at the island, like she knew. She'd look at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me. It doesn't matter.
Midtown, across the Bay of Revelshell, the oceanic wind washes 40-story towers. Above them, Lucerne Central Aerodrome, a cocoon suspended in the sky by a web of suspension wiring, encircled by hybrid aircraft. On the platform, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Yet still she smiles among the crowd, among the great ghosts of the city she's leaving, for another, far south. Smaller, distant, hidden, Not like the great chandelier she sees sparkle in the night below her. Street lights, towers, tenements and water, and across it a dark strip of ruins, barely visible if she didn't squint her eyes.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
You could get more out of him. He likes talking. Enough. Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and end this.
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back.
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house, stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez, because of the racists, everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world, listening to race-themed radio shows, in the ruins, in their lorries. Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat. Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class. Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. Intense, like animals, like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs. The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, the worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Koyamoran, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children. That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt Frisell is now dead. We did good when we pushed him under the horse car, until, in the 30s, those disco whores.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter.
Whores. Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses. That deformed toad, I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation, the smart one.
Edgar.
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that. First against the wall with him,
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course, maybe the Clears asked him to.
I haven't approached anyone. I've hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains. Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left, wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things. 20 years ago, neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then. Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Marzow. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzow. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought. You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways. Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That royalist goose played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A petanque maniac race traitor. I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him personally, his make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. That one.
There doesn't seem to be a single person under the pine today. Not even Gaston. Alone.
Fat and plump, like a pheasant, just begging to be popped off. Please, Miss...
He whispers with such predatory hunger. It borders on longing.
Calm down. I'm not angry. I adore him. He reminds me of everything we fought for. At least we killed that Fisel and his kingsman. Glad. It's all gone.
His lip curls into a sneer.
Glad. It's all gone.
What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. For a man who spent 44 years in the urban world. Indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, it's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads, as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system. You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even. Not, is it some kind of substance damage? Like he's addicted to something? Not only the painkillers he's clearly
No, I won't be stuffed full of shit like the rest of this city.
It's not a down, rather an upper, judging by his snaps.
Like some kind of decadent rock star.
No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
There it is again. Erratic hand motions, bouts of rage, and the stomach. Could it be a symptom of overdosing on something? Something even you have not tried? Keep your eyes peeled.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little ship.
Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand?
But... No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead. Pupils are dilated too. Eyes getting blacker and blacker.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
There it is again. To your north, as it has been since you came to the coast. The reeds whisper, stalks rubbing against each other. But then, something completely different. It sounds like a bow, very slowly being drawn against the strings of a violin. A very small violin, made of...
Maybe there is room for 3 on the boat. What?
What are you talking about? Is this... really us?
Your skin crawls.
Here we go. 3, 2.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmic
Sometimes, when molting, I will grow a lost limb. One time something went wrong, and a small leg replaced a missing antenna. The leg tried to move around independently, making it hard to walk. Yes, thankfully someone ate it. The next time I molded, I grew an antenna again. I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmadia, endemic to the Insulindian Insula. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molting, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and Opening. Soon, one of you will close your eyes and open them to see that none of this ever existed. So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect? I can also detect pheromones. The ones on you tell me that you will not eat me, and that I will benefit from your closeness. In short, I love you.
And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
It's gone. Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look. Apparently, yes, like a water strider. Only, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
What now?
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Something is very wrong with him now.
Mr. Doras?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets, his gap-toothed mouth shaking. Like an addict of some terrible substance. A light shiver passes him, followed by nothing. His hands are trembling, and he breathes slowly.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, these cells are
The trembling mouth appears to sigh.
Between this and the broken tire is used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid. Old age and shock. The appearance of the Phasmid, in conjunction with the stress of the arrest. He spent his entire life here. For him to live would be...
He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him. Perhaps you should.
I lost.
He turns his eyes to the reeds again, as he's done so many times. Beige and white stripes.
He lost the scope. Then it somehow made its way over there, with the help of a magpie Phasmid. This sight is a T9, Mr. Voss. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot?
Silence. Not even a sigh. No reaction. His breathing is slow, and he appears very old all of a sudden. Around 80. This is an old man, at last. No longer a tin soldier, but the broken down remains of a man.
Let's have a closer look at that after. I think I'll be more useful than him.
Nothing. Just dull staring. Not even rage left, wherever he is. The last embers have gone out. The war is over.
If Kuno kicked it into the sea, as he said he did, the ebb would put it back here. This makes sense. Mr. Dross could have picked it up. Or the Phasmid even. If it did, this is incredible.
The plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is slouched, and his mouth open. The blacks of his eyes are receding. His pupils are returning to normal. The strength has all gone out of him. Just frail old bones in a sack of tracksuit trousers, and they win.
We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help. He'll be safe here, if we don't take too long.
what the tide brought in. You look like a fucking clown, Harry. Not like a funny police officer, but like a real-life, full-time, pie-in-the-face, unicycle-riding circus employee. Bothered by it? Harry, you're a goddamn cop. They're afraid of you. Yes, that has always explained it.
Vic, calm down.
Hello, I'm Trent Heidelstein. I believe we've met on several occasions.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean Vicomar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heidelstein, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
Lieutenant Kim Kisuragi, Prison 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us. We might need your help with something later.
As if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
Letting the lieutenant know he shouldn't feel embarrassed over the shitstorm that's about to befall you.
Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid? Yeah, Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells? Refresh your memory? It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit. There's you, me, Jude, Trent fucking Heidelstein, and Guillaume baby.
I'm technically just a civilian advisor.
Oh, fuck you. You're part of this shit show. Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. Guillaume Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good. Then he left because he lost faith in your ability to lead the unit. Other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here. And Trent because I'm forcing him to stay. It's a Major Crimes Unit. We clear the desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We are shit tier now, Harry. Because of you.
The 41st isn't...
Yes, I'm Trent Heidelstein. I never said I wasn't Trent Heidelstein. What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s, like partial psychotraumatic amnesia, group personality theory.
He's here to see if you're insane. He's smart. Let's move on. The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went. Strange. He didn't mention that. In fact, the establishment didn't look safe at all. There was a giant aero graffito in front of the building. It was on fire. I knew it. Didn't I tell you, Trant? I told you it was our shit, kid.
The line is from Lu Jiatun's Mirova 82, isn't it? About girl-child communism, the titular returning character to ghost the apparition of... Good choice, Harry.
Don't encourage him, Trant.
Okay.
Where have we been? We've been fucking off as far as I remember. You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All we burn. Detect or die. You were crying hysterically. You were drunk, breaking things, being emotionally abusive. You said we were going into the abyss. None of us wanted to see the abyss, so we fucked off. Like you told us to. Guilty as charged. I heard you'd lost your mind and your memory. I wanted to see if it was true. And it was. Good work, Harry. You're insane now. There's one less person for me and everyone else to rely on. I didn't lie to you. No one lies to you. You were so fucked up on booze you couldn't recognize your own partner.
Lieutenant, my name is not Rose-Faced Woman. It's Judith Minot. I was assigned to your unit 2 months ago. I thought we were friends. Okay. Because you're my commanding officer, I really want to respect you. I want...
That will never happen, Jude. He's the rudest man on earth. He's the reason why the rest of us have to take sensitivity training. And I hate sensitivity training. Duped? Hey, here's a brilliant idea. Don't be a morbid drunk and you won't be duped so easily.
Yes, I'm still Kinky Solagi, still a lieutenant from Precinct 57.
The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage, Detective God. Trant, this is where you come in. How bad is it?
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic. As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very interesting.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
He is. He's getting better. And I can confirm that he drank a lot of alcohol prior to it happening.
I believe he drank. People do that, especially this one. What they don't do is forget their whole life because of drinking.
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before. Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. One was after the 2 drunks case, the other when we looked into that mirror.
The 2 cases in your ledger, the unsolvable case and the Next World mural, those were recent. Those cases were hard on you.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice.
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here. Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market. He just needed for its end.
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a crétin now? I want to know that.
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here. Yeah, just stand there. It's cool. No, now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to a motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry? Ha ha ha. Ho ho ho. Underwater killer. So funny, Harry. Thank you for fucking me. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of my payslip. You know that, right? You're gonna get fired, and I'm gonna pay till I die. It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge. The thing that tells people you're a police officer.
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic, and the badge slips out of your hand. Not today, badge.
And your gun? Yeah, gun. The thing that was given to you to kill people. I don't care if you have a new gun. I only care about your old gun. Your official sidearm. You lost it, didn't you? I don't care. Where is the gun the RCM gave you to kill people with? Where is that one? I knew it. I told you you wouldn't have it.
This isn't cause for celebration. It's bad.
I would say it's very bad, yes. You're drunk like an asshole, Harry. Please, put the stolen firearm away before you kill someone. Well, you let the suspect escape, glacier something, because you were too drunk to assess a flight risk.
We've read the reports. Lieutenant Kitsuhagi's. We know.
Sure, if it's part of your master plan. Let's not even get into the other suspect, the one who shot herself in the head. Another detail. Or the fact that you're Everclear's little peony now, doing I don't know what for him. That's small-time stuff. That's nothing. That's a humorous anecdote. Compared to the 7 people who were gunned down, the streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder.
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired unvetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals. He did so at considerable risk to his own life. He was shot, not once, but twice. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been. Don't make this harder for yourself.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation. You've spent the week with him on this case. What is your take?
On the case?
On Lieutenant Geoffrey Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week.
See?
1 week.
Then there's the superstardom. He likes to, from time to time, allude to being a superstar law official. At first I thought it was a joke, but now I'm not so sure. He says it's worrying, especially considering his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a Mazovian socio-economist. He wants to liquidate the ruling class, which, again, for a police officer, is a little odd. And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, and the drugs, of course. Amphetamine, mostly. But despite all this, he is a great detective. One of the best I have seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him anything, and he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped working on the case. He is tireless, madly driven. And he solved it, near perfectly. In 1 week we have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator. Locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a straggler who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as a reed. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian phasmid.
He takes out the photo of the phasmid and shows it to the officers across the yard. The wind blows, flapping the glossy rectangle in his hand. You hear gasps beneath the howling of the wind.
As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered.
Fucking hell is that? Is this somehow connected to the case?
The killer did not seem to be aware of the phasmid's presence. Exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia, he fell into a stupor after its appearance. He became near catatonic.
So it is connected.
I must say, this is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it.
Yes, it really does make it hard to fire the drunk. Yes. Fallen through a gap in a boardwalk. Drunk.
The body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of funeral arrangements and family stuff.
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us.
Still, good work with the missing person, Detective.
I don't know what a doomed commercial area is. Why? That's not what you were supposed to do here.
There was a possible witness in there, and it was close to the crime scene. He was just chasing a lead and ended up advising a local shopkeeper. It was okay.
Of course. Call it community outreach, right?
Dodged the bullet there. For a moment it seemed like you had just wasted time.
Lilianovich. Revolutionary matronym. The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms: Krasovich, Lasovich, etc. The revolutionaries saw this as a chauvinist atavism, so they used matronyms, derived from the mother's name instead. This man's mother was Lilian, his Lilian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was overturned after the revolution failed, but not before it made it to Revachol.
So, it is what a soldier of the ICM would be called.
Thank you, Trond. Thank you for that piece of cultural theory. You said you have a motive?
Of course, excuse me, I just thought it was noteworthy.
Jealousy. I thought this Lilianovich was an old man. To have been hiding for 50 years. Like 70-something.
A strange psychosexual fascination. The result of spending all this time in solitude on the islands of this bay. And trauma too. He himself gave a political reason. In his mind, he had killed an enemy combatant. Also, we have ballistics from the gun, matching the bullet found in the dead mercenary's head, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dross confessed to.
It's a clean win.
Masterpiece. Get over yourself, Harry. I can still smell the booze on the wind.
God damn it. Doesn't it ever leave? It is there, like in your bones or something. It will pass in time.
Female? What makes you think so?
You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female, and the nesting behavior too, I think.
Incredible. Were there eggs in the nest?
Not as far as I could see. There were other things there, though.
As in cloning itself? What makes you think so? Interesting. Then it is especially vulnerable to disease. A single strain of bacteria could wipe out the entire species. We're probably talking conservation efforts here.
In his mind, he's already planning a nature reserve and knows a good guy for that.
Yes, but also reed-colored, beige and brown, a little green on the outside. After unfolding from a single stalk, it still retained parts that looked like reed tufts on its limbs.
Incredible. The PR value of this is exceptional. Carp discovers new species. Maybe even discovers the Insulindian phasmid. No, that's too much.
This would really help with some of the problems we've been having.
Absolutely, this is great. This does not say vigilante murderers to me at all. This says science, news, human interest. You know, it's a really good thing you have that photo.
Without it...
You're doing good here. Perhaps only for a moment, but still.
I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder. So I have to, Jude.
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go.
Okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
The man looks westward, impatiently, jingling his car keys in his pocket.
Who are you? You're a gym teacher, Harry. Well, obviously you're not a gym teacher anymore, but...
Before you were a cop, you were a gym teacher in Coron. It's getting really cold outside. Should we maybe...
No, a regular one.
Harry, it explains everything. the running around, the jumping, the bicep girth, your inexplicable facial hair. Some of your more old-school wording choices, your posture even, the constant stretches.
The raw, robust stamina output. Also, this guy. Just everything about this guy. God, even this javelin throwing freak here.
The regular. You found some chick. She inspired you to fight the big fight. Be more than you are. All that.
You, every morning, walking from Voyager Road to teach gym. She, leaving for the academy with her spring coat on. The air filled with the smell of smoke and raspberries and incredible hope. And oat.
In your 20s or late 20s, you've really let yourself go since then. Yes, you taught gym in school. I believe that's the term. Taught gym at a high school. You were a high school gym teacher.
The smell of sweat and glue. The worn floorboards.
I knew it. I knew no normal human being can run like that. He's an honest-to-God gym teacher.
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over. Also, you were drunk.
You really went with it too. Really maximized the damage.
Yeah, Dora England, I think.
Not Dora Dubois.
Something like that. Half Vazan. No one is married anymore. This is Revachol. God, I don't know. 6 years ago, she was way before my time.
6 years and you haven't gotten over it. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, or 7. You're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora England really tore you a new one. A big one. Incredibly bangable. She was incredibly fuckable. A beautiful bourgeois woman. Wayfish. Like a Welkin, basically.
Pain Welkin.
I've only seen a picture, but it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was. One you never recuperated from.
Look, the sun is about to go down. It's time to go home.
I think she taught in the Académie des Arts, east of the river. Way east. Hard to say which came first, the middle-class chick or the drink. Egg and the chicken kind of thing. My point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit. Not a psychologist. Several degrees harder. Is there something harder than a psychiatrist? A forensic psychiatrist? Go talk to that. Us? We're the bloody murder station, haven't you heard? We're the bad guys. No one likes us.
That's not true. Jamrock is too big for one precinct. You're just understaffed. And everyone respects the 41st. You have Captain Price.
Thank you, Lieutenant. You're being kind. It is an understaffed station and the district is too big, which is why we need to...
Get back to it. We left Torsen and McLean to run the Sea Wing. It's not good. Mac the Torso Torsen and Chester McLean. They're not fit to run a wing. Believe me. Things are shaky as it is.
God. There are 4 wings, Harry. A, B, C, and D. We're in C. It's made of losers and clock punchers. You and I reconceptualized it as a task force. It was a mistake.
There's also a lot of outside help involved, not only me. Other losers too.
He's anything but a loser. Although he would like to be seen as one. It's cooler that way.
Ptolemy Price? He's the son of the old Price, one of the founders of the RCM.
He's one of the most highly regarded men in the force. You're lucky.
So he remembers that. Yes, there may have been a raid on some churches. It wasn't good press.
Shooting up churches never is. I was out of town, to be clear.
Our enemies were hiding in a church, to the best of our information. That's it. I'm not talking about this anymore. Your security clearance is shit tier right now. You have to wait for it to go up.
Your clearance will not go up while you're within earshot of the Union headquarters.
Okay, it's not the bloody murder station. It's an old converted silk mill with green desk lamps and a coffee corner. A lot of good people work there, hard, every day.
Jamrock is the largest ghetto in Rivershore. Faubourg, technically, but it's divided into 11 districts. Jamrock only has us.
The press will blow over. Jamrock is lucky to have you, and it's often considered to be the greatest of the districts. You're lucky to have it.
Thank you again, Lieutenant. Who is Lena?
Tabernacle? It's on the way over. Near where you live on Perdition.
Fine, if we're gonna drop you off anyway.
She and her husband were conducting the search for the Phasmid. It's their discovery, in part. They should know as soon as possible. It would do you good to deliver some positive news for a change.
She is going to be over the moon. Watch out, or she'll faint.
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all these. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain. Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Revachol. I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate. Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of two captains with my doom-mongering. Work with Price? I'm flattered, but I don't know if I...
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered.
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor.
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to. Mountains, even.
I do like the sound of that.
Good.
Fuck it, let's go. Trump brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock.
The great district hums in the falling rain. A chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls, fire traps as far as the eye can see. From Main Street to Grand Couronne, from Precinct 41 to Boogie Street, forking into the rain-swept horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Torsen? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstein? No. Vicmere? Yes. Dubois? Yes. Really? Nick Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Potomny Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in his office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through. When he does, he'll side with the people. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Minnow? Of course.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?